Hello. I am so delighted to be here. I am very happy for this kind invitation to come to speak to you today about the power of alumni connection and also about the power of networking, which, of course, I stand between you and lunch and networking. So I will do my best to inspire you to do the best networking that you possibly can and to maximize this opportunity and this event, but more than that, to inspire you to remember about the importance of your alumni connections and also about the power of networking. So that's what I'm going to do today in my very short time with you. So this was my house 4 days ago, okay? So this might be how you feel about networking. You might feel a bit scared, alone. It feels like something that doesn't feel very comfortable. After spending a day in Barcelona when it was 18 degrees, it was -6 at my house in Ireland. So I want to make sure that you understand how important networking is and how it can be a comfortable and embracing experience for everybody. And I want to frame this around the idea of alumni, but also on just 3 simple words that are going to frame around UPF, because that's why we're here at this university here today. So that's what I'm going to do. This is also what networking looks for a lot of people. Messy. This is what my house looks like with my small children. So maybe this is also why you might shy away. You might get some food and escape. But trust me, there is some importance around why we need to network and how it can be messy, but it can be exciting and important. So we're going to start with U, and the U stands for unlimited. And what I mean by unlimited is how we have unlimited connections with other people. So we're all connected as part of this community. So this is also the community we have here, the Lumens community. So we've created a community because we've all shared in this event. But there's also the community that you have here at the university. And I just want you to remember that whether you're an alum or a student, faculty member, a member of staff, you're all part of this community, and that's really important. So you have unlimited connections. And I'm going to talk about the importance of that. This is also near my house, not at this time of year. This is also near the beach near my house on the Atlantic Ocean. And I want you to imagine this big expanse of a beach. And I know you have beaches here that are probably just as beautiful. But imagine you have these expanse of opportunities and connections. And please notice how quiet the beach is. So that's how you can sometimes think it's an opportunity when you're networking to be reflective and also to be purposeful and intentional in the kinds of connections that you're going to be making. So you're going to connect with people, and it's going to be by chance. I got to meet somebody at the break by chance, a student here, a journalist student. It was really nice to be able to connect with someone, and that was purely by chance because we both have a love of chocolate. Okay? So you just don't know who you're going to bump into and how it could be an important connection. So when we're thinking about this, the first and the most important thing, which seems like the obvious, is the importance to let people know and to identify internally inside you that you are part of this community. Okay? So that means including it on your social. It means that you connect when you're meeting others outside of the university, that you mention your UPF connection, because you never know who else might also be connected. And the more you internalize this, the research would suggest the more that you're going to be active in your networking journey. Second, okay, everybody has heard this. It's not about all the networking you're doing. You get a great job because it's who you know, right? This is always like, and in many cultures, and I have done talks like this in over 20 countries around the world, and they will all say to me, doesn't matter all the networking I do, it's about who you know, your connections, your family's connections, that's what will get you. And we're in a different world now, and what I can tell you, and what the research would suggest, is that it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And why I've turned that on the head and why the research would suggest is that you need to go out there and be on other people's radar. So you can imagine a radar, right? And let's hope that radar is very good to me, because there's a chance I won't get home tonight because there's a bad storm going to Ireland. So everyone just think about me later on. There's going to be a radar and a storm coming in, okay? But instead of a storm, I want you to be thinking instead of how you are presenting yourself so that other people will remember you when certain things come up. So as I mentioned earlier, I got to meet one of your lovely students. It's James in Catalan. I don't remember how to pronounce it, sorry. Yeah, thank you. And he told me that he has an interest and a passion in journalism, sports journalism, and football. Well, guess what? That's now somewhere in my brain. And whenever I think of something to do with journalism, sports, football, I will connect. And that means it's not him that's made, he's already articulated his passions and his interests to me. But now he is on my radar, like lots of other people in the world that I've met through the connections. So this is why it's important to be on other people's radar so that they understand who you are and the kinds of things you're interested in, so they will come back to you. And also to be that kind person who has a radar, who is doing that for others. This is also very important. So I don't know if people are familiar with the concept of social capital. But we all have social capital, and by going to university, we not only have social capital, we have alumni capital. So we have these connections where we are connected to the flows of people, the flows of resources, and the flows of knowledge that happened here. And this is all part of this really exciting ecosystem that happens in a university setting. This is why we go to university, right? And this is why it's so powerful and so important that we're not just connected to other alumni, we are connected to, as I mentioned, all of the other types of people, the students, the faculty, the staff members, the visiting researchers, all of those types of people who have a connection here. But also the projects that they get involved in, the EU connections that they have, the mobility relationships that they have created from UPF and a whole bunch of other universities around Europe and around the world. All of those facilities that you have here, from theaters, sports facilities, all of those people that are in those knowledge spaces and resource spaces, they all have networks that open up many doors for many of us. Okay, I think that's why it's really important. And we also have to remember that for a long time, university has been an aspiration for many of our parents, and maybe we are parents ourselves, and we have that aspiration for our children. And for some people, they might be the first in their family to go to university, so they have this incredible inherited network. And what I mean by that is that they have parents, neighbors, friends that are in their community that really are excited for them to have this opportunity to go to university and to have these sacrifices that they've made in order for their child to go to university, okay? And we have a responsibility at the university now to help them build their alumni capital, because their inherited networks love them, but they might not be able to open those doors, those who you know doors that we talked about earlier. We need to help others create that. We need to maybe create that for ourselves. And that's why it's very powerful that we think about our alumni connections in a really important and kind and nice way. Okay? So there's a little bit of a fog. You know, when we think about networking, it can sometimes feel a bit, you know, unknown. What's going to happen? We have to lift this fog, and we have to lift that feeling that, you know, networking is only for those like you. Maria, you're very extroverted. You're somebody who loves to go out and meet other people. It's not for everybody. But what I would suggest, and why I wrote my book, that's my book there, it's a little plug. That's why I wrote my book, was because I did research on this area, on why it was important to do this type of networking and to have certain types of traits within yourself, both being reflective, being curious. So we're going to talk about, you know, asking curious questions, really important. articulating your passions. And as I said earlier, I got to hear about, passions already today. And it's important to know what those are that you have for yourself, but also listening to other people's passions and how that could connect back to the university. And finally, how to be generous. When you're networking, it's not all about you. You're not networking because you need a job. You're networking all the time so that you can also help others. Usually the ratio that I like to put out there is it's a 5-to-1 ratio. For every time you get something from your networking, you should be giving 5 times back. Okay, so that we have to be thinking about how we can be generous. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can do that. And that's going to go under P. So this is about positive connections. This is about all the positivity that we're going to have in the work that we're doing. Okay, this is another photo not far from my house. So it's a little bit granular here, but I hope you can see. This is a man and his dog skating in Ireland. Now, skating in Ireland doesn't happen very often. But I want to dispel a myth, as I said earlier, where networking is only for people who are extroverted. In fact, the research suggests the best networkers are introverts. And the reason why introverts are better networkers is that they are more reflective, they think more, and they're more intentional about the kinds of connections that they make. And they're maybe a little bit more hesitant about jumping into situations. And when they make a commitment to do something, they're more likely to follow through, saying, maybe I'll make you an introduction to somebody else, whatever the case may be. So that's really powerful. So you don't have to feel like you're alone skating on a pond all by yourself. I also think this is an important, pause here where we think about, the kinds of talks that we had today. You may hear from my accent that I don't speak Catalan. But I did pick up, I'm Canadian, so I speak French and I speak Italian because my parents are Italian. So I did pick up a little bit. And if I could give a bit of a weaving theme that I felt that kind of, threaded through the presentations, it was one of wellness. And what I mean by wellness is, the wellness of our communities, society, the wellness of our health system, the economy, our planet, even our businesses, our world, how we want to have wellness. But we also want to have wellness for that one person and their dog. That's the wellness for ourselves. So, part of the reason why we're here is because we want wellness for our careers and for our lives. And so we don't have to feel like we are alone because we have this incredible network to work with. So these are the positive connections you have. We have a shared experience. We've all come to this event today, so we're all connected. You've already, you can have connections with anybody in this room now, and you just use LUMENS’24 as your door opener to anybody here that you're curious to meet, okay? But you also have lots of other connections. And what I want to, I didn't put up the logo there, but something to look up, put on your list is, has anyone here heard of Barcelona alumni? A room that hasn't heard. Did you know that there is a Barcelona alumni group? It's run by the Science and Technology Diplo Hub. So this is a way that they want to collectively bring together people who have graduated from universities in Barcelona to look at some of the greatest problems and challenges facing our planet around science and technology. Now, how powerful is that? And they want to get all these people that are from Barcelona together from all over the world. They bring them together to a summer school, and anybody can join. So not only are you not connected now to a UPF community, but you can actually be connected worldwide with other people who have a passion for wanting to look at solving problems that are connected to your city. So that's really exciting. So you have a shared experience to that beyond just these doors. And you might have also, how many people here maybe went on exchange? Did anybody come to Ireland? I'm just so curious. Or did anybody go on an exchange anywhere? Did anyone go to Ireland to learn English? Yes, okay, I knew that. I figured there might be a few. Okay, and so these are other connections that you have, other shared experiences. Get creative. Could be your secondary school experience, could be an award you won, it could be the university you attended when you went on your Erasmus exchange, okay? So these are other shared experiences that you can have. These are your other networks. Yeah, this is the whole thing about asking curious questions, okay? It's like I said, it's not all about you for networking. This is about learning as much as you can about somebody else too. So ask questions about them. You know, I'm a sociologist, so I love asking questions, people. I'm kind of a bit nosy, so just be careful if I'm down in the back, okay? But, so maybe you just respond to me in Catalan, and then that'll be a way to make sure that you might shut me down a little quicker. But I think it's a really nice way to delve down deep on what people might be looking for, and also so that you can start to understand other people's career stories, understand where they're getting from, where they might have started, where they came to this university like you, and then where they are today. How did they get there? Start asking questions about that. It's really interesting. And there are two questions that you should ask whenever you're talking to people. And these are the two questions. So you can translate them later on. How can I help you? So this is making sure sometimes there is this kind of power dynamic where we think, oh, well, I'm just a student, I'm just a new graduate, I couldn't possibly help somebody else. That is wholly untrue. When I wrote my book, I was writing my book primarily for final year students and for graduates, recent graduates. I am not that demographic anymore. I can kid myself, but I am not in that age category. So guess what? A lot of students and a lot of new graduates formed part of a little bit of a informal committee all over the world, and they helped me to choose the cover of my book, to help me understand how the chapters should be constructed, the back cover, all of that work that I couldn't do. And a lot of them would think, well, what could I possibly do for someone who is twice my age, right? But there are ways. So if you ask the question, you might get an answer that is quite powerful. And the second question is, who else should I meet? The person that you ask that question might not be able to answer right away, but they might know somebody who is connected to something that is your passion, that is something that you're interested in, and they might make an introduction to somebody else. So that's really important to think about. Okay, and we're gonna get some really local here, okay? And I have no pronunciation at all, so we're gonna try this. So what do we call these on this side here? Oh, I almost fell off. That would have been hilarious. What do we call these? I think they're called bugnoles. Is that right? Yeah, okay. All right, so we're having a little lesson in networking here, okay? What do we call these on this side? It's not really a great photo, but I understand they have two X's in them. Tutu, there you go, okay? Now, when we're networking, we don't want to be these, okay? And what I mean by that, can I get just up here at the front, can I get 5 people just to come up here? You 5, come on up. Okay, we're gonna shake it up a little bit here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Sorry, I want you guys to form a circle around, okay? Just all the way around, okay? Now, you're talking. Okay, now, I want to join this circle. Does this look very inviting? No, it doesn't look very inviting at all, does it? Okay, so this makes me, even extroverted Maria, difficult for me to infiltrate this group, okay? Now, I want you to open up. Okay, you're going to be this side now. No, you can open it a little bit, like a crescent. Okay, here we're going to. Yes, like a crescent. Yes, here. Go closer to them. Okay. Okay, now, when you network like this, guess what? People can join very easily. This is very simple, but you would be surprised the number of times that I see the bugnoles all in the back of the room, and they're not the ones that are on the table. Okay, so thank you. You can go sit down. Thanks. So I just wanted to illustrate that because it's important the way that we are being intentional about how we network and making sure that what we're doing allows other people to join. It's easy in this kind of environment. I knew that if I was going to infiltrate a group, they were going to have to eventually start to speak English. And that can be difficult. But everybody here also speaks the same language, so we want to make sure we can be as inclusive as possible. So let's be more of Jujos? Is that right? Yeah, okay, we want to be more like that. Okay, so here's F. F is around focus. Okay, so we're here to meet other people. We're going to talk about networking not just today, but after this event. Okay, that's just as important as who you meet today, whose radar you get on. It's also important about what you do afterwards. Okay, I did ask somebody this question already today. How many people here are on LinkedIn? Is LinkedIn an important in Barcelona? Do people have LinkedIn? Do you know this? Yes, okay. I'm seeing lots of nodding heads, that's good. I think that some of the younger cohort may not. So make that your challenge in 2024, because if you want people in my age group to be hiring you, we're gonna look you up on LinkedIn, right? So I want to just show you a little trick if you don't know this already. So there's a little button on the search on LinkedIn on your phone, and it will bring up a QR code. So this way, when you're networking today, you can actually bring up a QR code and people can link with you right away. Okay, so that's a really easy way to be able to, and I love business cards. In fact, I gave one out today. I'm not gonna pretend here. I love them, but where is it? It's in this search bar at the top. And there's a little tiny QR, I don't know if you can see it, it's like a little tiny QR on the right-hand side, and that will create your QR code. And also it allows you to scan. So on the other side, there's a button at the top, and you can either put your own QR code or you can scan somebody else's, okay? So that's just a little tip if you're on LinkedIn. Okay, here is one of my, do you know bugbear, pet peeve, something that kind of can be annoying, is people will connect with you on LinkedIn, which is okay, and they will say to me, I can't personalize the message, I can't send you a direct message because I'm doing it on my mobile. Well, that is no longer a problem. You can now send me, and always should send, a direct message to a new person that you're connecting with. Now, of course, if you're using QR codes, that's more difficult, but if you're gonna do it afterwards, I just wanna show you, I'm gonna give you a little tutorial here, okay? So, you connect. It's so easy to just press the big blue button that says connect, right? That's the way. You just connect. Easy. Well, there are two reasons why you should always send a direct message to somebody else. The first reason is because they will remember you. Do you remember the radar? So they will remember you if you send them a direct message. They'll remember you more easily. The other reason is you'll remember them, because when you get to the stage where you have hundreds or even thousands of contacts, you will want to remember where you met that person. So when you write your direct message, you can make sure you have that information. So there's the 3 dots at the end, and then there's a place where you can put personalize invite. Okay, so that's what you want to do. So you can see yours might not be in English, but there you can see there's a little pencil there to just remind you where it is. And this is what's going to show up: personalized invite, and you can write a very short message. And this is how I always say there's 3 C's to how you should do it. Connection, which is, I met you today at the LUMENS '24 event. It was lovely to meet you. That's the first thing. The second thing is to remind them about what you're curious about. I am exploring careers in X. I am interested in Y. Whatever the case is, just write that in. And always be curious. Thank you for considering a connection with me. Something nice. Those 3 C's, okay? Very important. So you're reminding them of the connection, the curiosity piece, and then about being courteous. And then when they do accept you, you send another little message. And that message should be a call to action. So the first thing should be a call to action, meaning I would love, it doesn't always have to be this call to action, mind you, but it could be something like, I wonder if we could meet online for a 15-minute informational interview. So an opportunity just to, talk a little bit about your career. Do not look for a job. This is not the place to say, you can say you're looking for a job, but you don't ask for a job. That's not what networking is about. Networking is about, getting connected to others, and eventually what you're looking for and what other people are looking for in this ecosystem, it will all balance out, okay? It just takes a little bit of time. The second thing is circle back. So you don't put the ball in their court. You understand that expression? So the idea is you are going to get back to them so that this way they're under a little bit of pressure, but not too much. So you say, I will circle back with you. So I will come back to you in 2 weeks' time to see if there is maybe a time that you might be available. If you have an online scheduler like I do, you can also include that. And the online scheduler will make things really easy for them to be able to connect with you by just pressing a time in your diary. And again, be curious, be courteous and kind when you're making that kind. This isn't a demand. You're just saying, if I understand you might be very busy, and I really appreciate even the opportunity. So you're making sure that you're saying kindness, okay? And also you can ask those questions. Is there a way that I can help you? Or do you think there's somebody else that I might be able to meet? So you can also ask those questions at that stage. Okay, another granulated photo. This is my normal running route every day because I live in the west of Ireland. And it can feel like you're in the weeds, right? You can feel like this is a little out of my depth, or it can feel a little scary. Because like networking is a process that you have to be doing all the time, not just when you need something. Okay, so I go running up this road pretty much every day, as I went running this morning and yesterday. But you got to be consistent. So that's what we're going to talk about, about the following up. So that's the 15 minutes. We've already talked about the 15 minutes and the informational interview because you're asking for 15 minutes of time online. We have democratized the way that we can connect with alumni, including Barcelona alumni. So imagine you can meet people from UPF all over the world and ask for 15 minutes of their time. And as long as it's a pretty reasonable time zone, you'll be able to connect with them. That's pretty amazing. You can go on LinkedIn and search for other UPF alumni, and then you can make connections, in a direct message, and then after the direct message, ask them for that 15 minutes, start to explore careers. If there's something, explore areas. Maybe you're looking at developing your career, mid-career. You're looking at a career pivot, so you're thinking about doing something completely different. So you want to talk to people in different industries. It's really, really, really easy to just connect with loads of people who are like ourselves, okay? So if you're an engineer, it's really easy to just meet loads and loads of engineers. But what I would challenge you is to diversify your network of people. Because if you've heard of that expression, birds of a feather flock together, right? So you have lots of people, there's a term for that in academia, like homophily, right? So we attract a lot of people who are like ourselves. But guess what happens? You end up with the same networks. So if you're an engineer and you meet a fine art graduate, or you meet a architect, or you meet a sociologist, you're going to start to diversify your network, even if you're the person and you're looking for a marketing career, advice. Because people in these other industries know other people. They know their friends, people, they were old roommates at university, their neighbors, all of these people. So diversify your networks too. And don't forget to ask those two questions always. How can I help you? And who else should I meet? Okay, the other thing is, I was explaining that when you're doing your networking should be done consistently and often. So I often challenge people and I say, have an Alumni Friday. So today's only what day is today? Tuesday? Today's only Tuesday. So on Friday, block an hour out of your schedule to follow up from this event. Who you met, who maybe you didn't meet, but maybe you see a list of people who said they were coming to the event. When you go on LinkedIn, connect with them because you have something in common. Take an hour out of your schedule to do this. If you do this once a month, once a week, you will start to build your network. So I call that an Alumni Friday, right? And I have a big heart around it because I just love, I love alumni, right? And I think we all should embrace our alumni selves to be able to have those connections. So this is sometimes how we can feel. We have to think of ourselves, and we're at the cusp of this horizon, right? So this is looking out onto the Atlantic Ocean on the west of Ireland. And I want you to imagine that there is these unlimited choices you have. You have this unlimited choice of positive connections, And you can focus yourself into thinking about all those kinds of connections that you might need, and also how you can help others to find the connections that they need. And that's just as powerful, and it makes you feel really good. So I just want you to think about that, that the horizons are broad and exciting, okay? So now it's time to network, okay? So I think it's written right there in dual language there. So that's the way to connect with me. That's the way to connect to my book. And I look forward to connecting with you and to meet you afterwards. And I also hope you have some fruitful networking today and for the rest of your life. So thank you.